throughout the region, around the world, good morning to you. Good morning to you in St. Lucia, wherever you are, in the north, south, east, and west. Good morning to you. Good morning. Levez la, levez la, levez la. Last dormi, whole weekend. You there, chilling. You know, you had the holiday. Hello everyone, I'm Norbert Williams, right here on Sky FM 93.1. Join me Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. for the morning edition of Keeping It Real. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, Minerva Ward joining me from Canada, right near the North Pole. Although it's cold over there, it's gonna be hot in here. Don't you forget, Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. on GVD TV and streaming live on Facebook. Don't you miss it. Special good morning to you. Of course, it's Keeping It Real Town in Ancillary. Anytime Keeping It Real is on, everything stops in Ancillary. That's right, folks. Everything stops in Ancillary. So, you know what the deal is with that. And good morning to those of you in Marigot and Jackmel and Castries. Can't forget Castries. I mean, come on. It's the big shebang. You know, Castries, the city. Castries, the big kahuna. And good morning to Rodney Bay, too. You know, Rodney Bay has St. Lucia in the ring with Castries. A lot of people will tell you, they don't need to come to Castries anymore. And that's going to be unfolding even more so when the South begins to rise even more from the ashes. The Phoenix of, I think they need to rename Viewfort. What do you think? Maybe rename Viewfort Phoenix? Phoenix St. Lucia, not Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, St. Lucia. And of course, you know, I was just popping through the headlines over here for you because, you know, I like to, you know, give you a little bit of pertinent information. And headlines on CNN this morning about the wave. I don't know if you want to call it a wave. I don't know if you want to call it a spike. I think it's more than that, of COVID in India, the country that's donated COVID-19 vaccines and is producing vaccines, and the population of India is over 1 billion. That's right, over 1 billion people. That's a lot of people, folks. That's a lot of people. 1.3666 billion. 1,000 million, 366 million. It's 1.366 billion people. Just the little decimal part, the 0.366, the 366 million is the population of the US. So India is just about 5 times the population of the United States of America. Just imagine that. And COVID has blown up over there, folks. Likewise, a lot of places in the world. But you may wonder, where is the bowtie man going with that this morning? Where's Norbert going with that this morning? Where am I going with that this morning? Well, folks, as you may already know, St. Lucia has gotten its rather unfair share of criticism and propaganda and lies about what the government has been doing with regard. I'm getting into it early this morning. I'm getting into it. Of what the government has been doing all along to protect the people of St. Lucia. And we all know that, let's keep it real. We all know the politics that has been involved, and we all know that the opposition has been repeating the same thing over and over, the same biased, unfounded lies and propaganda about the government, that St. Lucia was the worst prepared, and all of that foolishness. And time again, St. Lucia has proven that it is far from the worst prepared. Oh my gosh, people are dying. Remember that? Remember that one? Oh, people are dying. We have our first call. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hey, what's going on, man?
I'm cool and easy as the wind
As
blows.
the wind blows. Well, not much of a wind this morning.
Let's take a look at sports in general.
Mm-hmm.
There is a winner and a loser. Who is a loser? A loser is the one who is not fully dedicated, easily distracted, and lacks discipline in life. This lack of discipline are the result that they are handicapped by mental fickleness, which come from distraction. Distractions are attractions for those with weak willpower. The losers in life are very little attracted by objects, rather the goal for which they are aspiring for. Those who are above attractions and distractions are themselves are mentally stable and develop faster and becomes proficient in a game. In the game of life, God is needed for mental stability. When we turn our thoughts to God, we ourselves become stable. The steadiness in practice needed for success, for victory, must come from within us. With God, we are bound for victory. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, caller. Have a great day. That's the man LeClary with his keeping it real thought for the day. That's right. Let me get right back on the COVID bandwagon. I want to just go over some things a little bit with you this morning. I'll tell you where I'm going with that eventually. Pretty soon, pretty quickly. Folks, we know it's a fact. It's not only isolated to COVID, that there are tried and proven methods, or if you want to call them protocols, or if you want to call them means or ways, of minimizing the risk of getting COVID. We know that. We know that. That's a fact. From the time you were growing up, long before COVID was around, your grandparents told you, your mother told you, your great-grands told you. You come in from the outside, before you eat, what do? Wash your hands. Simple. If you cough in, if you have a cold or the flu, what do? Cover your nose when you cover your mouth when you sneeze. That's practical, right? You don't need to be a rocket scientist. You don't need to have a PhD. You don't need to have all that money can buy certification or qualification. We know that. That's a given. That's fait accompli. That's established. You don't need to be any scientist to know that. That's been established. And I think we can agree on that this morning. If you have the flu, if you have any other contagious disease, you stay at home. Is that not true? You stay home. You stay away from people. You don't go to work. Because what will happen? You'll pass it on to other people. And even if it's a disease that does not kill, that it has significant effects. What's that effect, you may say? Well, If everybody on your job, or 50% of the people on your job have the flu, they can't come to work. Most of the time it ain't gonna kill you, but you can't come to work because tout zoga fait ou mal. You have a fever, you can't eat, ou faible, ou pas à marcher. And of course, if you don't stay at home, if you don't social distance, you'll spread the flu. That's a fact. We know that there is a flu vaccine, but the flu vaccine has to be taken every year because the flu changes every year. The virus is not the same as the one you got last year. So the reason why you take the flu vaccine is so that you don't get the flu or you don't get seriously ill from the flu, and possibly if you're an older or at-risk person, that you don't die from the flu. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to know that. You don't need to be an epidemiologist to know that. We know that. We've been taught those things at school. And if you want to talk about COVID, as I want to talk to you about it right now, it's the same thing, same principles, same protocols. You're not feeling well, you stay at home, you get checked out. But most people, let's be honest, most people who get COVID-19 don't die. That's a fact. We know that. And then you're asking yourself, but where is Norbert going with that? But we also know that what we've heard all along is what? What have we heard? Flattening the curve, or keeping the curve flat. And what does that curve refer to? The curve refers to the number of cases you have versus, vis-a-vis, the number of hospital beds that you have. So if you have a country that has 10,000 hospital beds and they have 500 cases, there's no curve to really worry about. Although you still have to keep the numbers down so they don't get exponentially higher and overwhelm you. We have another call. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, yours truly.
Morning, how are you?
I'm okay.
Great, talk to me.
Welcome to May.
Ah, yes.
And everybody, welcome to May. Miss Teresa, Actil, Chiny, and Tandy, good morning. And everybody, Ika, Abbas, morning. So, I am there listening to you.
Okay, great. How was your weekend? How was your weekend?
My week was blessed because, you know, it was my birthday Saturday.
Fantastic.
And you know what happened?
No.
Sky FM lifted me up so high. I didn't fall. I just enjoyed it.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, hope you continue having a wonderful week.
Sky FM.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
I will, in Jesus' name.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Teresa Actil, good morning to you. So I was saying, so the protocols apply to COVID-19. A lot of people, oh, it's like a flu. Well, it has similar symptoms, like the cough and all of that sort of thing. But if you have a, let's say, St. Lucia 1 and St. Lucia 2, or let's just do the United States and St. Lucia. If you have a country with 10,000 hospital beds and you have 500 people infected and need hospital care, you still have 9,500 rooms available in your healthcare system. So their curve is low, flat, the ratio, number of rooms to the number of cases. But if you have a country like St. Lucia, and I'm just throwing a figure out there, that has 100 beds, remember I said I'm just throwing a figure out there, exaggeration for clarity, and you get 500 cases, your curve is sky high because you have 400 more cases than you have beds. You start having a problem. People can't be attended to at the hospital, and they got to stay home, and they don't stay home, and they move about the place, and they spread it some more, and you have more people. But it's not only that. You see, this is what people are ignoring. This is what the opposition is ignoring. That if your curve goes high and your healthcare system is saturated, is filled, COVID patients or persons infected with COVID are not the only ones who need medical care. So what about the kidney dialysis people, and the people who have heart problems, and the people who have all sorts of other problems, and the women who have to give birth, and the people who need surgery, and the people who need eye care and have cancer and COPD and they need medical attention. But at that point, your hospital is filled. So COVID now is affecting the people who don't even have COVID. Because the people who are sick and need medical attention with COVID have taken over the hospital. They've saturated your healthcare capacity. And that is the problem. And I think we all agree on that. I think this is a very simple concept to understand. It's basic mathematics. You know, a lot of people tell you, well, if I want to do this, why do I need to learn maths to be a doctor? Yeah, well, here's one of the reasons. Among a multitude of other reasons why you should know math, with dosages and calculating lots of other things. Temperature, time, because if you're taking a pulse, you have to do it against the time. How many beats per minute? Or how many beats per second, or 10 seconds, and multiply it by 6 to get per minute if you want to do that. So you need to have that foundation of maths, and not just 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 2 is 4 kind of maths I'm talking about. You must understand the concept. You must be able to extrapolate and think. So I think we all on the same page with that. So this government, the government of St. Lucia, as well as the governments of every single country around the world, every single country, all of them, have put measures in place, protocols, have enacted legislation, have declared states of emergency, have imposed curfews, have limited business opening hours, have restricted public gatherings, have restricted public events. To do what? To minimize the infection rate of the coronavirus. I think we can understand that, just like everything else. Just like if we had Ebola. Just like when we had all other sorts of diseases. And the fact is that a vaccine has come out. When you look at the rates of side effects, not anything greater than any other medication that you take out there. There are people who have died from taking aspirin. There are people who have died from, you see the ads on TV all the time. In fact, 75% of the ad is about side effects. If you get dry mouth, if you have itchy nose, if you have pains in your muscles and joints and blah blah, contact your doctor immediately. Very often, the side effects of some drugs you take, some medication you take, are just as bad or even worse than what they're treating. They create all kinds of issues. But you have to weigh. You have to wait. For example, if you're learning first aid, and I've had the reason to administer first aid before, on a number of occasions. first aid is very important. But very often, first aid or administering first aid is done not under the best circumstances, not under hospital conditions. So you're out there in the field, or you're out there on the road, it's an accident, somebody's fallen or whatever. May have been raining, and you have the possibility that in administering chest compressions that you could crack or break somebody's ribs. So which one is it going to be? That you save their life, or you break their ribs, or I'm just being extreme here so you understand what I'm saying, or you can put them on the cold, wet ground. It's been raining. Now, why would you want somebody to lay down on the cold, wet ground? That ain't good. They could catch pneumonia. And especially if you're out of St. Lucia in a country where it's very cold during the winter. You put that person down on the ground. Because your pneumonia can be treated, but if you can't breathe, that's a death option right there. Just put them on the damn ground. You get them mouth to mouth until the ambulance gets there or you get transportation. Then when you get to the hospital, you can treat that. So the point I'm making with all the anti-vaxxers out there and all the nonsense, that's what I say. I'm keeping it real this morning. Nonsense. You think anybody needed to unleash COVID on the world to control people? Every damn day, so many people taking medication. You go to the dentist, you go to the doctor. St. Lucia don't produce any drugs. Huh? Does it? All the drugs we have here come from outside. If anybody wanted to control you, you think they ain't do it long time ago? You think they wouldn't do it with your children who have to go to school? You have to go to university or college out of St. Lucia anyway. You must have your vaccines, or you could pay for your master's degree in advance if you want. You can't get into class unless you show evidence that you've been vaccinated for whatever they want you to be vaccinated for. I went to school in New York, in New York City, in Canada, in lots of places. Before you can go to school, you must have your MMR, measles, mumps, rubella shots. What about your children that go to the doctor? Just last week, didn't you take your child to the doctor for a follow-up post-natal visit? Doesn't your child have to get shots every 3 months, 6 months, or every year, whatever? They have the card. What do you think that card is about when your child comes? It's get the injection. You see them control any of your children yet? So let's be real and stop falling for the foolishness, the stupid propaganda and the crap. Let's stop echoing the nonsense people are saying out there and the ludicrous nonsense some of you are repeating from off the internet with a bunch of nuts. And I say so with absolutely no apology this morning. So I'm going to make a prediction today, folks. I'm going to make a prediction. You ready for it? That tomorrow, Tuesday, the 4th day of May, 2021, our House of Parliament convenes. There's a session, there's a sitting of the House. And up is the extension of the state of emergency. And I'm predicting right now, it's not even a prediction. You know already. The same old worn-out, ridiculous excuses, arguments that have been made before against the protocols, against the state of emergency, are going to be made again. Unfounded, unsubstantiated, irrelevant. I don't want to hear none of that nonsense about people's freedoms and all of that foolishness. That's absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Because there are circumstances in every single country in the world under which Your freedoms can't be curtailed. There has to be specific reason. It has to be a specific reason. And there are laws governing that. So trying to, this government want to control you. I mean, how ludicrous. Control you to do what? Oh, elections come in. They don't want the opposition to have their meetings. Stop being silly and think about it for a while. Stop letting people malmene yourself. Do you think that if there are protocols in place that restrict the times that people can be out, that restrict social gatherings, that affect the opposition, that it affects the government too? I mean, seriously. So the government is having their huge rallies and the opposition can't? I mean, stop repeating nonsense. Stop repeating nonsense. And you know darn well you're smart enough to know it's a bunch of baloney. You know it's absolute nonsense. I'm just keeping it real with you. You know. So why are you repeating it? Political expediency? Convenience? But we know what it's all about, and the evidence is there. The facts are there. And we know what happened when the state of emergency expired last year on the 30th of September. We know what? We know what happened. And there were people who conveniently facilitated that the COVID Prevention and Control Bill would not pass in the Senate because the senators were not there. Shame on you all. Shame! And we know what happened. People took the opportunity to have what? What did they have? A protest march. And we know exactly what happened within 14 days of that protest march. We know what the numbers were before. We know during the state of emergency from March last year up to the end of September, flat. Why? We had the curfews, we had the state of emergency, we had the lockdown, we have the protocols, social distancing, hand sanitizing, wear your face mask. Folks, just like I said before, we know, you know, I know, that they know, that he know, that that other one knew what he knew about him and he knew it too. That the protocols work. We know that. If there is one way to guarantee that you don't get COVID-19, stay at your home. Don't go anywhere. We know for a fact that works. Right or wrong? We know that. We know that the protocols work because guess what? The protocols were not only established because of COVID. They've been there around for the longest while. When you were going to school, you were taught that. Wash your hands. If somebody's sick, don't go close to them. Don't we know that? Didn't we know that before? And let's talk about the past now this morning. The past is the past. That's the past, man. So let's go to the past to last year. Was the state of emergency in effect in March, April, May, June, July, August, September? Were the protocols also in place? What did our numbers look like? Let's keep it real, man. Come on. Bullshit me early in the morning. Let's keep it real. Don't make me get too hot. I'm trying to be calm. Let's keep it real. We know that they were. We know that for a fact. And then you have the opposition who will tell you, oh, we're guided by the science. Philip J. Pierre, honestly, you know, the six horsemen. You know them, 6 angry horsemen. Confused horsemen. The 3 B's principle horsemen. Bullshit baffles brains. Yeah, they do it in the night, in the day, in the morning too. 3 B's on you. Bullshit baffles brains. You subscribe to that principle. They'll tell you all kinds of nonsense. We're guided by the science. The buggers went and get vaccinated, didn't they? Didn't they go and get vaccinated? We're guided by the science. So, what science were you all guided by when you had the protest march on the 4th of October last year? That's what I want to know. It's the same, the member guy call with the local journalists. Aren't one of you all go up to, tomorrow is the house, go up to one of them and ask them, what science are you guided by? What does it say? What does the science say? All of them wearing masks. None of them breaking the law. Well, that's another story. But let's keep it real this morning. All of them wearing masks. They're wearing masks in the house. Aren't they? So it means that the protocols that are in place work. That's the science, isn't it? So which key kalte science you ka pale about kika guide you? That's what I want to know. What science are they referring to? I hope, I pray, I wish that somebody in the press is gonna have. Keep hoping, Nobby. Keep hoping. Keep hope alive. That somebody, one of them, will ask Philip J. Pierre, will ask Ernest Hille, but exactly what science are you guided by? What science, which science guided your decision to have a protest march in the middle of a global pandemic? Because we all know that at the bottom of that flyer that went out on the internet said, observe, wear your mask. Wear your mask, observe the protocols. But we know that through COVID what the protocols were. We know what mass crowd events cause to happen. So tomorrow, they will be back lamenting the same nonsense. I mean, it's like a worn-out recording. It's like, when is that song going to stop? Will the DJ stop playing that same sickening song? Let me ask you a question. You think in any way, shape, or form that if the SLP had been in office right now, that they would not have instituted a state of emergency, which enables the imposition of a curfew? Look at what happened with the numbers after the march. Look at what happened when things were relaxed for the holidays. And relaxed on the people's side by them going out and not observing the protocols. What happened to the numbers? What happened? Let's deal with the facts. Let's keep it real this morning. What happened with the numbers? So let's go forward now and see what happened for Easter. What happened? They increased the curfew hours. Why? Because of the apprehension and the expectation that St. Lucians, as they usually do during Easter, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, Easter Sunday, Easter Monday, Kaju, would have been out and about and all over the place. So they increased the hours of the curfew. And what happened during that time? What has happened since? Tell me what has happened. The numbers have been going down significantly. Well, we have 5 cases. Oh, the opposition was bawling for bloody murder. 100 cases, 80. Oh my God, people are dying. The end of the world. It's the end of the planet. The opposition is going coco loco. One of them, week before, even said, I only have 1 passport. I've never been anywhere. Maybe that's the problem. Never been anywhere. I've never lived anywhere else. You need to go out and experience the world, buddy. Proud to say that. Nothing wrong if you're St. Lucian. Nothing wrong if you were born here. Nothing wrong if you have 1 passport. Nothing wrong with that. But that does not make you an automatic best choice to be Prime Minister or anything at all. There are lots of crooks who have 1 passport. In fact, there are crooks who don't have a passport. There are crooks who never left St. Lucia. So what? There are crooks who are St. Lucian. So what? By their works you shall know them. When you rubber stamped or didn't have anything to do with defending the people of St. Lucia, protecting the people of St. Lucia from Rochamel, Frenwell, Grindberg, Jufali, and everything else. What did that I only have one passport do about that? What did I'm a proud black man in St. Lucia, what did that do about that? What did your blackness have to do about that? What did your blackness do in protecting the people of St. Lucia from that dirty, rotten deal of Grindberg? What did your blackness, what did your one St. Lucian passportness, what did your patriotism do about Rochamel? What did it do about Jufali? You want me to go on? You want me to go on? What did it do about the record unemployment? You want me to go on? What did it do about the state of schools in St. Lucia that only $1 million been budgeted and been spent on a yearly basis to fix schools? $1 million for all the schools around St. Lucia. What did your blackness, what did your one St. Lucian passport do to prevent that, to fix that? What did it do? Don't tell me foolishness that's totally irrelevant. So many black people they have in St. Lucia, all of them deserve to be prime minister too. It's your ability, your capability, your record. That is what the people will judge you on. Not big. How many people go and vote for you out there if you have one St. Lucian passport? How many people out there go vote for you because you're black? I'm a black St. Lucian. Big deal. So am I. So am I. As if having a second passport is some impediment, is some negative against any St. Lucian who has dual citizenship or status in another country. Foolishness. Abject stupidity. And to say that in our House of Parliament when the Constitution says nothing about black, dang damn it. When the Constitution talks about equality for all. Get to know the Constitution. Don't start with me this morning, you know. I haven't really put my hand on that thing yet, you know. The nonsense you were talking in the House. That's absolute, abject nonsense. Go talk to the Constitution of St. Lucia as if it's some badge. Oh, I'm a proud black St. Lucian, black man in St. Lucia. So what? The Constitution has absolutely no eyes for color. So you better put that in your pipe and smoke it this morning. The Constitution says nothing about how many passports you have. The rights and freedoms under the Constitution of St. Lucia are guaranteed to all. Whether you're black, whether you're beige, whether you're a white Lucian, whether you're an Indian, whether you're a Syrian St. Lucian, wherever your roots are, from Guyana, from Trinidad, from everything. How many people have children who are half whatever, half Bajan, the mother from Barbados or the father from Barbados, huh? Or from Trinidad? How many of them marry people from Trinidad or whatever? You tell me there's some type of deficiency if that happens? Like, come on, man. Come on with the divisive, xenophobic, racist crap. Come on with that nonsense. I have to deal with the nonsense over and over and over and over again. Defies logics. Defies reality, defies sensibility. But you know, desperate people will do desperate things. And they will say desperate things too. So tomorrow we're going to hear the same old worn out arguments again about the government wants to control people. Yes, the government wants to control you. Yes, they're controlling me, you, and themselves too. And you know why they're controlling themselves? COVID. That's the reason why they want to control your actions. If you don't like the word control, then that's your business. Why do your actions need to control? When you're driving on the highway, you have to control your speed. There's a speed limit. Where's your freedom there you're talking about? Why can't I drive at 100 miles an hour? Why? Why? Why the government want to give you a ticket for speeding on the highway? I'm a free man. It's freedom. There are rules, regulations, laws to be followed for the orderly running of society. All of you have gone to school. Even at secondary school, you learn that if there are no rules, if people don't obey the laws, what we'll have, we'll descend into what? What's that A word? Anarchy. Mun kay fesa yo vle. What did Sean Edwards say the other day in the House? In the House of Parliament, trying to hoodwink people about marijuana and people who are incarcerated because of that. What he said, if, there's that word again, if I had my own way, if. But you know, some people ain't going to hear that word. They're going to gravitate towards the, the marijuana thing and think that he's saying that. Cleverly crafted. If, you hear it a lot more. You'll hear it a lot more, don't worry. If I had my own way, acknowledging what? That he doesn't have his own way. That's the laws. But how can he not have his own way? It's a free country, isn't it? Yes, but there are laws. There are restrictions for the orderly running of society. That's why we have the police to enforce the laws. If you can do what you want, there's no need for the police, is there? Do what you want. Fais ça ou vle, man. Pas besoin police. So there has to be measures in place at certain times for the good of all. Say it ain't so. So tomorrow they're going to come with the same old thing. I expect it. Same old thing. Oh, they want to restrict people's movements. They want to prevent people from campaigning. Bunch of nonsense. You know damn well it ain't because of that. You know damn well if you're in office, you'll be doing the same thing. You know that. Well, I mean, look at me. You think I like staying at my home? You think I don't want to just get up and go by a friend, go somewhere, do something, go out and about? If I wake up at midnight, see my vole. Huh? It's exaggeration for clarity. It's because people understand, and you understand too. You all know darn well what it is. So why all the nonsense? Give me a call, folks. 4560931 this morning. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's coming tomorrow in the House of Parliament. The same old thing. I want one of these so-called journalists tomorrow to ask Ernest Hilaire or Philip J. Pierre to explain to the people of St. Lucia what their being guided by the science means. I want to know which science and with regard to what they're talking about. Which science were they guided by when they had that protest march on the 4th of October 2020? I want to know. I want to know. I want to know which guidance by the science was in effect when they had that motorcade down there in Mico last week, the Saturday before last. I want to know. I want to know. And I want to know what science they're guided by when they tell St. Lucians to observe the protocols. I want to know Dr. Kenny Anthony, soon after a major event for him, went on the radio solo and begged, pleaded with the people of St. Lucia to follow the protocols. So I wonder which science those were and which the SLP is saying that they follow. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Mr. Williams.
Morning.
Good morning, St. Lucia. Morning, Banana, Conway, Darling Road. Morning to my favorite positive statesman, Sir Michael Shaste, Sir Peter Josie, not forgetting the best chief medical officer in the world, Dr. Sharon Dunlop George on a medical team. Mr. Williams.
Yeah.
I've got a question to ask you.
Yeah, ask me the question.
Is St. Lucia the only country in the world that has protocol as far as the COVID is concerned?
Say that again, caller. What's that?
Is St. Lucia, is St. Lucia the only country in the world that taken measures against this pandemic?
No, we're not.
I'll be very short. A St. Lucian called me a couple of weeks ago. And he said to me, Lucian, I got a question to ask you. I said, shoot. He said, now this guy is a very strong, diehard SFP supporter. Was, as a matter of fact. And he's the guy that told me that Alan Shaste will never become Prime Minister of St. Lucia. He's so impressed with Shaste. The man has become Alan Shaste man now. What he said to me, if SFP was in Bermuda, how many votes do you think they would get? Mr. Williams?
Yeah.
I the jackass that I am, telling man, 100 votes. So he said to me, he said, Leonard, you're more stupid than I thought. I said, what do you mean? He said, man, those fellows, if SFP was in Bermuda, they won't get one vote. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you. Have a great day. 456-0931. And the number for our WhatsApp is 485-0931. 485-0931. You could give me a call on WhatsApp if you're out in the diaspora or anywhere else. If you're the frugal kind in St. Lucia or anywhere else as well, you could call or send me a message via WhatsApp. I know some of you are out there. 485-0931 is the number, and we have a number of messages. I'll go to the first one for this morning. Good morning, Norbert. Philip J. Pierre described himself as a proud black man, but a few years ago a woman referred to him as a boy, and he took offense to the statement. I wonder now which of these words was offensive to him. Was it the word black, or was it the word boy? I do not think it was the word boy, because if it was, it would not have used yeah. I do not think it was the word boy, because if so, the word boy would not have been used to refer to Dominic Fede as he did in the House of Parliament a few months ago. Good observation, caller. On another note, do you know I think I can safely say that. On another note, do you know the Joachim principle? If I am not your friend, and you go about telling people I am your friend, then I will confront you in church. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Morning, I'm doing good. How are you?
Not too bad, and happy Monday to you.
Same to you. Thank you very much.
Blessed Monday. I thought Mr. Bermuda would have told us there was a protest in Bermuda.
About COVID.
COVID.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but I was just reading that online.
Yeah.
And it shows that those persons who are frustrated of the restrictions and the rules that is governing COVID.
Yeah.
But on another item, I was bitterly a breath of waiting to hear on Saturday, which was Saturday church this weekend, to see where the incident that took place at the church, because I was really much waiting for that. Although I have had some talk with two pastors that is in the South, it's Seventh-day Adventist Church, I heard the views, which I would not share there, but I was waiting to see the member of that church. Sent an apology to what happened, and then and I know persons would not like to hear that, say we need to move on, and forget about that. But what we have, as Rick always saying, the more we believe, sometimes we forget things, the more it happen, because the next time will be something totally different from what took place in the church. We can have a church invasion and a scores of person getting killed. We need, and up to now, and I'm seriously about that, we need to hear something totally different from the Seventh-day Adventists. A strong condemnation. I know the church have this pastor, which is a no-nonsense guy. He is the one responsible for the Seventh-day Adventist mission in the OECS. And I am waiting to hear something from him. Now, I did not know if the individual in question attended any church Saturday, because I was really waiting for that, because I need to know if the Seventh-day Adventist church is a dance hall, a place cinema where you can go and just do, because since when these type of things have never happened?
Caller, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. A despicable character who should know better, who, in the current environment in St. Lucia, having been a police officer, having been a former parliamentarian, being a lawyer, in talking about this, I'm very disappointed. And sometimes Adam mun san hot yo pa mele, but you still have to express yourself just like they express themselves and feel it's their right to express themselves. I'm truly disappointed. Him having been a former schoolmate of mine and a former fellow officer with me. And we're not enemies, we're not buddy friends, but as far as I'm aware, there's nothing going on between us. We talk on our shows and that's about it for me. I don't know who has things under their skin that they can't deal with. But to refer to the church, I'm looking at that church. That's the comments that were made. I'm looking at that church and that's a dance hall, is the biggest insult. Because in fact, you know, and the saying of that was not, making of that statement that the SDA church in Forest Hill is a dance, look like a dance hall, was not one of endearment, of respect. It was one of ridicule. One of disrespect. And the fact is that church can be held anywhere. It can be held under a mango tree. Church has been held in dance halls. Church has been held in stadiums, in arenas, in conference rooms, in buildings that were not designated as churches. Because what does it say? Where what 2 or 3 or more of you are gathered.
I'm in the midst of bliss.
That is so disappointing. I mean, this is sinking to a new low, man. Come on, man. Come on.
And you get it right. It says, where 1 or 2 are gathering together, I am in the midst to bless. So whether it is a hall or it is under a mango tree, once the presence of God, the persons who are celebrating to receive the blessings, the benediction, God is there to bless its people. So don't tell me the church is a dance hall. And since when things like that are happening in Seventh? I have never heard incident like that in a Seventh-day Adventist church. I tell you, I grew up in a Seventh-day Adventist church, and I know nobody cannot tell me the function of Seventh-day Adventist church, the respect and the principle, the rule of law that is governed in that church. And I am very much I am waiting, and I'm saying, I only hope that those persons who are responsible for the Seventh-day Adventist Church in St. Lucia, and in particular that church, send the message clear that we will not tolerate this. And brother man, things like this, as I said before, when people go and do that in a Seventh-day Adventist Church, 2 things that can happen to you. They will disfellowship you if you don't want to recognize with your brother or apologize to your behavior. They will disfellowship you. The pastors and elders will meet, and they will take a decision as to one or the other. Either you don't apologize or they disfellowship you as a member of that church. that this is what happened, or else you will be discontinued to officiate in that church, brother man. And this is serious. And I only hope people understand that the Seventh Adventist Church is not a place where you go and do all your commerce and come back and tomorrow you hold a Bible under your arm and whatever and go and preach to people. And that is where my position is. This cannot go on like that, and I am again waiting, and not just me. There are a lot of Seventh-day Adventist Church and other denominations are waiting to hear something totally different from the gentleman. That just cannot happen and go like that. We have had too much incident both in church and in this country where this weekend one person was shot and killed. Radical behavior. Just go and take somebody out because it's radical. You have been restricted. Your rights have been taken away from you. COVID, it's just needed to impose rule on you. The people need to get free. The people need to go out and do what they want. So just go and do something. And those type of behavior, that is unaccepted in our paradise. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. Thank you very much. 456-0931 is the number in the studio. And 485-0931 is our WhatsApp number. If you're out to St. Lucia, in the diaspora or wherever, and you want to give us a call. If you're here in St. Lucia and you're a little frugal or you don't have credit but you have Wi-Fi, here's another call. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yes, just be again.
Yeah.
Replying to the last caller. Well, Bermuda 2 weeks ago was closed down. The whole country was closed down. And now it's just about a quarter open. Three-quarter of the country is still closed down. Okay? Because we had a couple of weeks ago, we had one day we had something like 800 what do you call it? 800 war casualties. Right? So right now, Bermuda is about three-quarter closed down. It was fully closed down 2 weeks ago. Okay? For the record. And the death has risen too. All right? Later.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. Thanks for keeping it real. You know, folks, I have another message here. Let me read that. I'll take this call. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, good morning, Robert. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, I'm good, but at the same time, boy, what I'm getting from overseas, kind of disappointed. Man.
What are you disappointed in? What's from overseas?
The reason for that,
Can you turn down your radio, please?
Okay. You know, when I started my career as a runner, I meet a lot of people all over the world and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's a good friend of mine, which when I ran the New York City Marathon, I was injured. And you have those people going to the Opalo plane, and the night shows and stuff like that. She was a drummer, those kind of Brazilian kind of music.
Showtime at the Apollo, 125th Street.
Yes,
yeah.
I think that's in Harlem, right?
Harlem.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so many years I have not heard from that lady. In fact, I call her a lady because she's grown now, because the last time we met was 21 years ago. And we were going together, but she was white, right? She was from Buffalo, New York. But it's a whole story, but just to cut it short, maybe we could have a show and then I will say exactly how those people are feeling. And then, boy, one thing, the world looks big, but it is very small. And then she used to inquire about me and stuff like that until when she ran into a friend of mine in Manhattan. And the guy told her, well, boy, you would not hear from your friend. And she said it has been almost 2 decades. But he likes the politics. So they asked her where to go, and she's been following it on Facebook and stuff like that. And what she is getting, she does not like it. Because unfortunately, on the weekend, she called me and told me, hi, John, who's speaking? And it took me a while before I could have known who was speaking, and not knowing it was Judy. I said, no, it was Laura, sorry. And then I said, hi, how you doing? She said, long time. I said, yes, true. She told me, well, boy, she met a friend, and the guy gave her, my number and stuff like that. That's why she's called me. But she said, well, what is happening in my country? And then I tell her, well, the politics is very hot. We're going into election very soon. But she said, there's something I do not like about your country. I said, what? She said, your prime minister is a white guy. I said, why are you saying he's a white guy? I said, well, he has a little color, but not anything to say he's white. So she said, well, she's been following the thing for a little while on Facebook. And she's been following, you know, the opposition because of the St. Lucians link her up to follow it. And she does not like the way the opposition is going on. Because, I mean, whichever party comes in, they have to come to the United States, they have to go to Canada, they have to go to Europe. And who are the people you're going to come to talk to try to see what you could get for your country? So she said to me, the way she's looking at it right now, my country has race. I said, no, they does not have race. She says, racism. That's what it is. And she even told me the time of George Floyd, the match, she lives in Buffalo, but she still traveled, you know, wherever this match was. I think it was Minnesota, to take part in it. So it's not about black, white. And if you have a guy who is doing a good job, white people have to tarnish the guy's name and all kind of thing like that. And she's telling me right now, if she wants, right now, if she's thinking of St. Lucia, she'll have to think of St. Lucia twice. I said, why you say that? Why don't you come down so we could meet? I could take you to the Sulphur Spring, the beaches. She said it's because of the way the politics is in St. Lucia. She figured if she come there, she will not be welcome. And that really have me a kind of way and stuff like that. But I'm in touch with her. And a number of my friends keep calling. Yesterday I spoke to my daughter. And she was telling me the same thing. She was on Facebook. She lives in Canada right now. And she had to put a St. Lucian guy in his place. And my daughter was saying, well, if Shasney is white, what are you doing in Canada? And you're making $1 and to go back home. Now you have your citizenship. Who gave you the citizenship? The same white man you're against and you're passion. You know what I mean? And she really, you know, took them to task. Then I got another call from my niece in England. And she was telling me she'd been stuck there for almost a year. And she was telling me about the protocol. She told me right now England is open up. Right now you could go to the restaurants and you could sit, but they have the protocols there. And she even said to me, Uncle, even the police are very strict up there. They take no nonsense from nobody. You understand? And here in St. Lucia, we gain on like as though they know what they're doing. You know, and people have to understand that they have to take those protocols serious and stop the nonsense that they're doing. And she reached as far as telling me she has not taken the jab yet. And she could say, we are lucky in St. Lucia. I said, why are you saying that? She said everything is like, I think they have things in place, but her time ain't come yet for her to receive the jab. But even my daughter was telling me, Dad, I told her I took mine already, the first jab, and then she told me she has not even have hers yet. I said, why? She said there's so many different vaccines in Canada. Everybody wants to take the very same one we have in St. Lucia. And she said that is the one she wants. So there are some people going to other province and stuff like that to see if they could get the Zeneca thing that we have here. Because she said that one is the best. And she said, Dad, you're really lucky down here, you know. Do you know Canada been locked down for almost a year? And right now, certain stores have to close because of the increase. And here in St. Lucia, Gassam, we have the evil St. Lucia Labour Party promoting that, Gassam. Look at India. Look at India.
India is crazy cases. Now. 400.
They set a record and they break their own record again.
3,006 dead, 400,000 infected yesterday.
Yes, again. And what I am saying now, but what driving me crazy right now, the opposition have to really stop that. And those people in St. Lucia, that's why I'm telling you, there is a lot of ignorant people in St. Lucia. And I am not saying everybody, but the Labour Party now thinking we're living in darkness. They could come
in the dark ages, all kind of nonsense.
Fool people, Gassa. I really have a problem in that, Gassa. And those guys don't really care about St. Lucia. Because look at how St. Lucia, if they did not have that match there...
If they cared, they wouldn't have gone on that darn march.
And to make it even shorter again, look at Trinidad. Do you know Trinidad just started ordering the vaccine? And even while
Hey, Trinidad listen, man, Trinidad in a mess. Look,
in a mess,
Bermuda on lockdown now. People want to, you know, let's be real. That there are people who have all these conspiracy theories and everything talking about their freedoms. But is this really about our freedoms or about saving lives?
Right.
That's the big question, you know.
Yeah. But you know, the problem I have, Trinidad now trying to put an order. I think they're trying to get the vaccine from the States. And do you know, guys, so whilst preparing the batch of vaccine to send to Trinidad, you know that on hold right now, Norbert? Do you know that?
What's that you said?
The batch, they're ordering the vaccine now to try to vaccine their own people because they have to put their money in their pocket to get that. Whereas we didn't really have to do that. Do you know right now the vaccine, the order is on hold?
Oh, really?
Yeah, let me tell you why. When they order
make it quick and caller, we got to make a roll.
Because that is important for solutions to know. Do you know, I think they say it's contaminated, so it's a pushback again. I got that from BBC, you know. The very 93.1 they don't like. The station not giving you all the information. They push it back. And do you know, somebody told me they got it there at Trini. I'm not going to mention the person's name. And they travel to Trinidad. And they tell you, boy, when she said to her families over there, she had the vaccine. She said, what? I wish I could get to St. Lucia. Let me see if I could get it too. And we're making all that noise now. Look at India now, but I'm going to make it short. But sorry for that. Look at India, where we got our vaccine, where it was manufactured. Let St. Lucia know now.
India.
And what happened to India now? The very same Indians that help us out on the Caribbean, look at where they stand now. My God. But now, but since you said I don't have enough time, I cannot go on and go on and go on. I believe I have to probably be on the show with some kind of talk shows for us to discuss them issues. And let us keep it real.
Okay,
and
caller.
I'm telling the St. Lucia Labour Party to stop it.
Stop that, man. Stop that.
Stop that.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller. Have a great day.
You.
Thank you. 456-0931 is our number in the studio. Direct ring-a-ling-ting-a-ling number. And here's a call on the ring-a-ling. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Morning, Norbert.
Morning.
Well, I think you are so right about what is likely to happen tomorrow. In the House, as you said, the very same thing is going to happen. You're going to have the very same set of nonsense.
Another opportunity to campaign. That's all it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's so unfortunate that a party that wants to lead can behave in that manner. And I think it's the only other thing they may add to that is that the government is trying to prolong the date of election.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing different that you're going to hear than the normal rhetoric and nonsense.
Mentioning that, caller, you notice the constant referral, even though it has been pushed back on over and over again. Same thing over and over. June the 6th, June the 6th. June the 6th ain't mean nothing in the Constitution and the laws of St. Lucia. Ain't mean nothing.
And the sad thing is that they are perfectly aware of that. I mean, the former Prime Minister is a lawyer who knows the difference. And all the members of Parliament should be aware that this is not the case. But you see, it's not that. I believe that it is deliberate because.
Of course it is. It's not an accident. It's not an accident. Of course it's deliberate.
It's deliberate. And they're saying that if you tell somebody something long enough, they're likely to believe it.
But you know, caller, but you know, the thing is, the significant date is July the 12th. But they will keep alluding to June the 6th as if it has some, all it is 5 years since elections. The significant date is July the 1st. That is what is in the Constitution, the 5th anniversary of the first sitting of Parliament after elections. But you know the plausible deniability to say, well, we can't say that, but they keep referring to June the 12th, June the 6th. June the 6th is 5 years, 5 years, 5 years. So somehow in people's minds, they believe that June the 6th is some watershed moment, that something has to happen by that date. Nothing has to happen then.
Exactly. the other thing I just want to mention is that I believe that we are underplaying a very important aspect of that firearm incident. and where I say that is, I think that the individuals that are involved are people who are aspiring to lead the country. One of them considers himself to be prime minister in which, and I think that the way they went about, they handled this thing is very irresponsible. It is unlawful, and it is a shame that you would expect these individuals to be quite cognizant of the law. They should know what the law is. And if you are going to be a leader, you want to lead, then these are things that you should do well. I mean, could you imagine if Prime Minister Shastri were to go to one of his ministers' home and take a firearm from that? Call Norbert and say, Norbert, look, take this thing to the police.
Caller, let me tell you something. The mere fact that you can surmise that, the mere fact that St. Lucians would say that if such a thing happened, how totally and starkly different the reaction would be from the SLP speaks volumes. Speaks volumes.
Yes. Because they are going to tell you, as Prime Minister, you're supposed to know the law. This is not something you expect, and this is the kind of outcry that you would get.
But that's the difference. That's the difference, caller. And we've seen it time and time again. For some reason, there's some type of Kool-Aid or some type of ventilator that these people inhale some type of tainted oxygen, or they drink some type of special colored Kool-Aid that makes them into these aggressive deniers of the reality and the truth, alternate reality mentality.
Yeah. And this, I think, puts the police in an awkward situation. Because, there you have people in leadership positions who are aspiring to lead, who have violated the law
well
of
said.
the land.
Well said. Well said.
And the police are in a dilemma because, I mean, what do you do in
because people want to use the police as a scapegoat and say, one set of laws for this, we have two St. Lucia's. Foolishness. The question you have to ask yourself when people try to malmeny or say, well, with emotion like that, because everything is an emotion, is a halikase right away for you to get excited right away. They don't want to give you a chance to reasonably examine the information. What you have to ask yourself is questions. Are we in a global pandemic right now? Yes. Are there rules and regulations and laws in place to deal with this pandemic and to minimize the risk of the spread? Yes. Were the police enforcing laws that were in force at the time? Yes.
Exactly.
So who cares? But they have to give it the political twist and try to make it seem as if the government is using the police to do what?
Exactly.
Foolishness.
And when you listen, I don't know if you heard the press release that the PR of the Labour Party was read on the news regarding the situation on Sunday with the motorcade. Actually, the words that were used actually is putting the police as the police is now almost a political party because the action which is right.
But you see, when you don't have any real talking points, you need to create a monster. That's what you need to do. You need to create the talking points. And that is all this is designed to do. To create in people's minds that something is being done, that they're being victimized, that there's some special vendetta against them, to rally the people around. Because they really have nothing to talk about as far as the performance of the government is concerned.
Yes.
So that's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah, because you listen. For example, the police had taken action and say, okay, detain one of the persons involved with bringing that firearm for having an unlicensed firearm which does not belong to them in their possession. Again, they are going to use that and tell you how the police I'm saying it's the Prime Minister, the government that has caused that and this kind of thing.
Well, you know what?
Find a convenient excuse why that happened. You know? So it is, I don't know, but I believe that it is time that St. Lucian, and I'm hoping the majority of St. Lucians really look at the performance of the Labour Party, the nonsense that they keep putting out every day, and really for the interest of the country, do the right thing.
So let me ask you a question, caller, quickly. Is Joachim Henry a member of the United Workers' Party? Has he crossed over?
No.
So why haven't the police arrested him? Because based on their logic and their reasoning, the police deal with them differently to others. Exactly. So I guess Joachim Henry must be a member of the UWP. That's why he has not been arrested.
Exactly. You know? Exactly. Yeah, because this is what they convey, that everything the UWP, you know, the police is... But isn't the police force supposed to be a neutral body? Because tomorrow, if the Labour Party were to get into office, would they change the entire police force? Because from what you're getting, the police force is a UWP tool. That is the impression the Labour Party is giving. So what would happen if they were to get in power? Would they dismiss the entire force? Because based on that, the police is not doing what they're supposed to do. Which, I mean, and it is so disturbing that you're criticizing, you are criticizing the police, saying derogatory things about the police, which is the very same people that if you get into power, you have to rely on. So then again, you put the police in a dilemma, because when you're on the outside, you say one thing. Yeah. When you get into office, the police is supposed to be doing their work. If they don't do it, what are you going to do? Because you have created the environment for them to think, well, for the people to think that it is okay to do certain things, and that is why I believe we are having so much issues and things with the police, that the police are get to a stage right now where they, you know, the public, because when you look at the public presence, when you have scenes where the police is involved, where people, I know in real police work, you could not a crime scene, you coordinate up, and people go through that, push the police and this kind of thing. You know, so you ask yourself, if this thing continues, I think it is time probably the police be firm on these kind of things. There is a police line, do not cross, you don't cross. And if you try to attempt to do that, you're arrested and I think the police has to time now to be well firm and ensure that people don't violate these things as they do today. Everybody believes that it is okay to go up into police station and tell him, man, you shouldn't arrest me. No, you shouldn't do that.
You know, a lot of that the police have to blame themselves for, because they tolerate too much nonsense.
Yeah, because
they tolerate too much nonsense.
The police have been put up with too much of these things. People break the thing, you're supposed to deal with them accordingly. Because the more you compromise,
these minor offenses escalate the situation
into bigger ones. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, caller.
Yes, okay then.
Thanks for keeping it real. 4560931. I have some messages here. In fact, hold back on the calls. Let me read some of those messages. Good morning, Norbert. The SLP will be well advised to acquaint themselves with COVID situations in Martinique, Anguilla, and Trinidad, and support the government instead of their malicious, cheap political actions, which are counteractive to controlling the spread of the virus. The SLP goofed in their march last year. A planned motorcade had to be aborted, yet that irresponsibility was repeated with a motorcade last week. So the very justification for the Prime Minister to keep strict measures in place is the very irresponsible actions of the SLP trying to circumvent the protocols and regulations. It is their very actions that is making it harder for St. Lucians. It is more than obvious the SLP are hell-bent on countering every measure instituted by the government to control the virus. Why? Are these the actions of persons claiming to be patriotic and wanting to lead? They say putting people first. How can you be putting people first when your actions are to the contrary? Yeah. Let's go to the next one here. I would like to send a special happy birthday greeting to my husband, Alex Jean, also known as Feo, celebrating his 59th birthday today. Can you play him a special song? I'm not going to give that any publicity. Good morning, Mr. Williams. Are you aware of the word maskirovka? It is a Russian word meaning deception, misdirection, and deceit. Maskirovka. Sounds like Spaskaya. Maskirovska. Maskirovka. Maskirovka in my Russian. It was employed by the Russian military to mislead the enemy and by politicians to fool the public. Mr. Henry, I would suppose that's Joachim Henry, is following such a game plan, no doubt in my mind. With the lackluster performance of his party, they use these parlor tricks. I haven't come across that word in a while. They use these parlor tricks to get relevance. Sir, now that he has admitted to a criminal offense, I don't know if he's admitted to that. With all evidence available, what are the law enforcement services doing? Do they need an act of God to get them to do the right thing? The Henry's crass behavior has made it difficult for all right-minded persons to have sympathy for them on the loss of their son, whose passing, it would seem, they used to boost his flagging political career and that of his party. Good morning, Mr. Williams. I guess that's happy Monday to you and all Sky FM listeners. Mr. Williams, the SLP will pay dearly at the polls for that reckless and xenophobic statement spewed out by its political leader. Sir, I have lived here for close to 20 years. I pay taxes here. Yes, sir, I do. I have children born here, with one just short of voting age. My question is, what will it take for me to be a full-fledged citizen, if ever? After 25 years, it's only now Pierre is interested in ownership of land for the people of Bagatelle. Interesting. Good morning, Mr. Williams. If June the 6th is the date to call elections, then we would have a fixed date for elections. A good point. Good morning, Norbert. The SLPs making their brainwashed supporters believe that the state of emergency is taking away their freedom. Aren't we not in a global pandemic? The Labour Party is all over the place, having motorcades, virtual meetings. Well, that's not all over the place. People on the beaches every day are having fun. So what the SLP is talking about, the state of emergency is not an automatic shutdown, but rather giving the power, that be the authority, to act quickly in the event of the second wave or another wave. Some St. Lucians are very stubborn. We have to control the spread of COVID. That's the only way this small island of St. Lucia can go back to a form of normalcy. Look at India right now. They are overwhelmed. My government is doing the right thing to protect all of us in the event of a second wave. Have a great day, Norbert. You have a great day too, but it directs my attention back to February the 28th when a certain horseman from the opposite side made a very loud and profound statement at the NEMAC meeting held at the Financial Center in Castries, right there in Point Seraphim. What did he say? His fears have been allayed and what he saw there was the best, world class. Yeah, he said it. He said it. Sean Edward. Question to the police. Why? I don't know what that's saying there. For the SLP, there is no COVID-19 on island. Next short one. Good morning, Norbert. Even PAHO supports stricter measures. In fact, a number of health agencies around the world have called for stricter measures. But tomorrow we will hear the lamenting, the wailing, the gnashing, and the wailing of teeth of the SLP tomorrow, still pushing the nonsense. 456-0931 is the number to call if you want to give me a ring-a-ling on the ting-a-ling. And WhatsApp is 485 0931 if you're in the diaspora, if you're anywhere around the world, or if you don't have any credit or you're just a frugal listener to Sky FM. WhatsApp 485-0931 and direct in studio 456-0931. Call and tell me something about that, about what's coming tomorrow. Tell me what's coming. I don't know. 456-0931. Give me a call. What happened? You all can't wake up? Have you had your coffee yet, folks? That's what I want to know. What's your favorite morning drink to get you pepped up and stepped up and ready to go? And looking outside, it's completely overcast. Maybe just a little bit of blue I'm seeing over there. And I think it's time for the weather, don't you think? In St. Lucia, the current temperature is 79 degrees. And it just went up to 81 degrees in Castries. Going to a high today of 84 degrees, just 3 more degrees. And it will be mostly cloudy, and the sun will be playing hide and seek with the clouds. 18%, 25% chance of rain by afternoon time. So maybe little sprinkles here and there. Take your umbrella, if you will. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yes, Mr. Norbert.
Good morning.
Yeah. You don't think it's time for scientists to make a way that you could record your dream?
I don't know how you're going to do that, caller.
Because there's so many things I've been dreaming of. And some people, I need to share it with people, you know.
Well, which one are you going to share with us today?
Huh?
Which one are you going to share with us today?
You know, I dream I was in carnival.
Hmm.
And a beautiful woman, you know, she was in carnival also.
Yeah.
But the man is showing off with a big wallet.
Uh-huh.
And the woman is not interested in the man with the big wallet. She's interested in me.
In you. That's right. I knew. Yeah.
And I telling you.
But you don't have a big wallet. What do you have that's attracting her?
Well, I'm telling you, where money don't buy love. And the woman actually, she jumping up with me, you know. She whining on me.
Woo, woo.
But in the dream, I said, look at that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't have a cent, and the woman is whining on me.
Yeah.
I said, I wish people could have witnessed that dream. One beautiful woman.
Was she a Lucian? Did you know her? Do you know her? Is she a person in real life?
I don't know her.
Ah.
But she's beautiful.
Well, let me tell you, these days, man, you know, especially around elections time, you have to be careful. Maybe that was a Laja Bless.
Oh, you know, Laja Bless wouldn't choose to dance with me. You know, I say the dream is something else.
Man, you make it, man. You got the woman of your dreams there because it was a dream. Hey.
You know, when I get up from the dream, you know,
you were vexed.
Because I say I should have stayed longer.
You may try and make yourself go back to sleep, but it couldn't work.
But if I go back to sleep, you know, I wouldn't find her again.
Oh, she maybe find another devil now.
But anyway, Mr. Norbert.
Yes, sir.
We have to go into seriousness now. Huh?
Yeah.
Do you find that some people allow police to brutalize them unnecessarily? Because it's so simple. Wear your mask. Even though I wear it and the police turn his back and he go and I remove it. But show some respect to the policeman.
Caller, let me tell you something that has been said a lot. In St. Lucia, what's the word? We are a very disorderly society.
Disorderly society.
People and politicians, I'm saying it, I ain't putting no water in my mouth. Politicians have made a lot of excuses for people's lack of adherence to the laws, that they've used people's status or perceived status to excuse be able to Maliway, man, you give the Maliway a chance. So Maliway or people of lesser means can do anything they want because they Maliway.
But it's the same when I look at in Castries, you know, it's affecting the development of Castries where people doing what they want.
Yeah, every day.
Putting trade where they're not supposed to be.
Caller, let me ask you to observe something. And all St. Lucians walk in there. And there's a reason why you have rules and regulations. There are reasons. It's not just out of somebody's head. Pass by the printery on Jeremy Street and look at the size of these wrought iron, these rusted metal monstrosities there. And look at how much. Pass there at 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock and see how much of the sidewalk that they've taken over. I mean, this is ridiculous.
You know something, Mr. Nabat? I've seen a beautiful building and someone add a piece of plywood to it, you know. And that was not supposed to be there, you know. I don't know who gives that person the authority to add a piece of plywood or something to the... What they do is degrading the beautiful building. Degrading it, you know.
Caller, don't get me started this morning, okay?
Anyway, have a great day.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. 4560931 is the number in the studio. Let me see if we have another message or two here that I can read for you. Let's see here. Good morning. Good morning, Norbert. There was a situation this week where a family had their house demolished by court order. Can you believe that someone in the SLP is now blaming the Prime Minister? The person went as far as saying it happened in his constituency and he has not said a word. Can you believe that? Now that they are having the dolt on another station trying to call the owner of the house. You know, how about if you had your property and somebody squatted on it or just put up anything? You think you don't have a responsibility to yourself to secure your property? And this here is a court order. That means that must have gone through this for ages. Because to get the courts to pass an order like that, it's lots of time, lots of opportunity for the person to do it voluntarily. I know that for sure. Because it's the law. There are requirements. They give you notice. And they give you notice. And they ask you to move. They give you every opportunity to do it. Every policeman is aware. You go through, you deal with this in training school. All sorts of things like that. So when the court gets to the point where they sign an order to move you out on somebody's land, I mean, you know, I must get the photos for you. Folks, it is incredible in St. Lucia how many people are squatting on people's land. There are whole communities on people's land, and it's hell and damnation to get people off. That's why many people don't even allow you to put up much from the time they say, brap kwazesa. Because the moment you allow the roof to go up and people to move in, whole cow pabon. Whole cow pabon. There are people that have land, they haven't been on there for years, whatever. When they go in, when they're ready to do something on their property, big shock, big surprise. I tell you. And some people give people advice on how to do it. How to stall and do all kind of things to stay on your property, to squat. But they themselves will be the first to pass with a tractor right away, rah, through whatever you have there. Some avocats. Oh yeah, folks, we live in St. Lucia. We know they have some avocats that will give people advice to make your life miserable. We know that. Who don't like it, that's their business. There are some avocats that should not be avocats. We know that. Hello. Give me a call. 456-0931. 456-0931. So I was talking about what to expect tomorrow. Listen to it. They starting getting the minions and the hackalacks online. Start pushing the agenda from today, yesterday. Watch and see. Watch and see. Oh, they want to renew the state of emergency. They want to control people, my freedom. Next message, Hi, the SLP candidate for Miku North joined the party recently, a former policeman who was not senior at all. How could he have agreed to take part in this motorcade without condemning it? That's the conflict right there. How can you take part in it and condemn it at the same time? You can't. it usually tells how you served yourself and others. Interesting. Interesting. So there is, and folks, we know there are a lot of people around the world who want to make it seem as if somebody wants to control them. There are always these conspiracy theorists and all of those all over the place. When you had 2G, they say they want to control the world, they want to control your mind. When they rolled out 3G, they said the same thing. When they rolled out 4G, they say the same thing. Has the world been controlled? Has your mind been controlled? And now that 5G is looming on the horizon, they ain't got no 5G here yet, but now that 5G, within the next 5 years, it's going to get here. Tell you they want to control you and use that with COVID, and they can give you COVID with 5G. Will you please stop the stupidity? Will you stop believing nonsense? I mean, the moment you can say that, it means you... Shucks, man! How in tarnation can an electronic signal, can electricity give you a virus? Come on! How can radio waves give you a virus? How can radio waves give you COVID-19? Please stop! Please stop repeating nonsense! Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real. Turn down the volume, please. You gotta stop listening to the radio and speak in the phone. You want to hear yourself. You don't need to hear yourself. You know what you're saying. 456-0931. 456-0931. How can cell phone, I mean, from the start when you had these big cell phones with the long antenna, it's going to give you brain cancer and all kind of things. You hearing any brain cancer from cell phones? I mean, billions of people have cell phones. You would expect by now that it would be epidemic, wouldn't you? You would expect that a few countries would have been controlled now with cell phones, wouldn't you? And the nonsense, man, nonsense about they trying to control you with the vaccine. So many darn vaccines y'all get in all your life. If somebody wanted to control you at least through COVID, they would have to do it. A COVID vaccine. Your mother, your grandmother, you go to the dentist, you get injection of Jolu or Brinzu. Huh? You go to the hospital, all the medication that comes into St. Lucia comes from outside. If they control Zot, say Pansayo de Gaimete, they would have to create a global pandemic and all kind of nonsense to give you a vaccine which is voluntary for you to take anyway. I mean, come on, man, come on. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Noble.
Morning, sir.
Calling from Labrador.
Hey, good morning, Laborie.
Yeah, I have a bit of concern, Mr. Noble.
Mm-hmm.
I've been speaking to a lot of my community members.
Yeah.
And the information that majority, well, not majority, but those I've spoken to so far, the information that they are exposed to or they have been receiving is so incorrect, and it leaves the people in a state of ignorance, where that they know the facts, they know what is right, what it should be right. They are old people, they're older enough to know what's right from wrong. But yet still, I don't know how they are influenced by what, I don't know if it's a media person or talk show. I don't know if there's a difference between a media person and a talk show. So I'm not sure if there's any difference between that.
Different mediums, different styles, different...
But the information that I've been gathering from majority of, especially young people, they don't have the correct information about almost nothing that's been going on in the country. I spoke to a couple of young people yesterday, and we were speaking about Cabot. And you know, these people do not know not half of the story of Cabot, you know. But whatever they have been told,
they're so opinionated. Yeah.
And these people are very convinced that the government is selling St. Lucia for nothing. These people are very convinced that the government do not want to do nothing for St. Lucia.
And that's not
They are
true.
very convinced that, you know, extremely convinced, you know, with showing me texts on the phone and all kind of different things I've never seen, you know. I've never seen this. They bringing that up to me and telling me, look the facts.
Because caller, because there are persons out there hell-bent on pushing the misinformation, and they will use every medium. They will do it at midnight. They will invade your page and post it at 1 o'clock in the morning so you sleeping. And even if at least 2, 3, 4, 5 people see it before you delete it, that's their agenda. They will invade your space on WhatsApp. They will send you emails if they have your email. They will send you nonsense on WhatsApp. They will send you stuff. People who never reach out to you, never talk to you about anything, you'll all of a sudden have a message on Facebook Messenger. Pushing the same nonsense. They will invade your Instagram. They will invade your Skype. They will invade Viber if you're still using that. Whatever it is, where they can get away from the mainstream, where Facebook can block them, or a group will see it and tell them stop that nonsense. They will target you individually. That's the strategy. Target you individually.
Well, Mr. Norbert, we are faced with a problem down in Library. And misinformation is baffling the minds of our people now.
They malmenen y'all sevel.
Yes. They really are. Because these people are very convinced, extremely convinced that the government is willing to take their life away from them,
Caller, but see, the thing is throughout history, you see, what you see in now is just exacerbated or perpetuated even more because of social media and the internet, What you see happening there has been happening for a very long time, even before the internet. Remember the days, you sound like you've been around a little bit. Remember the days of those chain letters? Write it immediately. It's always an urgency at the moment to get you riled up. Write this letter immediately before bad luck befalls you. Send it to 10 other people. And you have these dolts. I never did that, caller. Sitting down there back in the day, no computers, and they writing the same nonsense 20, 30, 40 times. So, chain letters.
We have a fight in our hands. And I don't even think it's just fighting the Labour Party. Thing is, we really need to educate our people.
Fight ignorance.
Yeah. That needs to be fought to the team and to the core.
To the core. That's
and I'm putting my pledge down to make sure that my community does not suffer that kind of loss, man. And I want to big up all my youth people from Library. Everybody listening, I know this. Trust me, there are a number of them listening right now. But from the time I've been speaking, they have been starting to listen. The word is going around.
Yeah. Thank you very much, caller. Thanks for keeping it real. Have a nice day. Have another message here. Good morning, Mr. Williams. The SLP will use any opportunity at the cost of people's lives, health, to get into power to destroy St. Lucia. They are desperate. Then they will blame the UWP for not managing COVID. And they are the ones increasing the COVID cases with their stupidity and insanity and recklessness. Thank you very much for that. 4560931. We still have a few minutes today. We're going to take it up on time this morning, 8 o'clock. It's 7:55. Good morning to you. If you're supposed to be at work at 7 o'clock, you're late. If you're getting there for 8 o'clock, you have 5 more minutes to walk through that door, to punch, to put your fingerprint, to do your facial scan, whatever it is you do to verify that you're at work. You got to do it in the next 4 minutes. That's right, 4 minutes, folks. 4560931 on the ring-a-ling if you want to give me a ting-a-ling. And WhatsApp if you want to send a message, or call me, 485-0931, 485-0931. Good morning to you in the United Kingdom, those of you in the US, in Canada. Martinique, bonjour, bonjour Martinique, bonjour Cayenne, bonjour Guadeloupe. Did I say Canada? Good morning Canada. We have quite a few people on our stream from the UK. Good morning, London, or good afternoon, whatever time it is over there. The US of A, New York, Miami, the usual hotspots of St. Lucia activity on the internet and right here in the studio. Thank you so much for joining me. It's 7:56 in the morning. We have just about 3.5 minutes left. I want to say thank you so much for joining me once again. Tomorrow, another session of Parliament. Don't miss that. Like I said, I'm predicting. Remember my words, folks. I'm predicting. The opposition is going to come out with the same old worn-out nonsense, gobbledygook in the House tomorrow about the protocols and everything, saying that the government is trying to control them, trying to restrict their movements. when it affects everybody, not just the opposition, and for a very good reason. COVID. We have a global pandemic. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Mr. Williams.
Morning, sir. You have 2 minutes.
You know why the Labour Party is behaving like that? And they're not seeing. If they are guys, they need to see, the thing they call God, they just say a lot of lies. But they're not seeing they're losing. They want our Prime Minister to call election. They're not seeing they're losing more seats. Huh?
That's what they're trying to prevent. The longer they realize, that's why they keep calling elections early themselves. The longer it goes on, the worse it gets for them.
25 years opposition leader in government, you haven't done nothing for this country. Now you want to come and do something for this country?
Dictate. Yeah.
You think people say if Central Shell is blind? I don't think anymore. I am a taxi driver from Southern Taxi, but I'm living up in the States, right? I'm coming down just to vote, to see progress in my country.
Yeah.
Continue the work. The very good Prime Minister. Praise God for him.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. Have a great day. Thank you. And that's it for today, folks. Monday, the 3rd day of May. Can you believe? You remember Christmas was just the other day? We're now in May now. May. Unbelievable. This year is just flying by. Wow. Well, thank you for joining me once again. Those of you out there in the diaspora and around the world. And those of you here in St. Lucia, hope you have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Observe the protocols. We're getting there, folks. We're getting there. The numbers are way down. But the people who will jump up on the roof and shout it to the world that our numbers are high are deafeningly silent when we're doing it right. When the numbers are going down, nada. All they want to do is relish in the bad news. Thank you once again for joining me on the morning edition of Keeping It Real. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Guess who's going to be here with me? Minerva Ward. That's right, folks. And coming up at 9 o'clock this morning, the man Champagne with Champagne in the Morning in another hour. Champagne in the Morning coming up at 9. Thank you so much, folks, for joining me. It's a real pleasure to be with you. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hello everyone, I'm Norbert Williams, right here on Sky FM 93.1. Join me Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. for the morning edition of Keeping It Real. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, Minerva Ward joining me from Canada, right near the North Pole. Although it's cold over there, it's gonna be hot in here. Don't you forget, Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. on GVD TV and streaming live on Facebook. Don't you miss it.
Bienvenue à Sky FM 93.1 et puis Dr. Sigwe lundi pour vendredi. Ça c'est 4h30 pour 8h au soir. Côté Dr. Sigwe ka encore nous. Côté nous ka discuter qui ça qui ka fait en pays. Nous aussi à sur Facebook et puis channel 115. Ça c'est GVD TV. Join-moi lundi pour vendredi à sur Sky FM 93.1 et puis Dr. Sigwe en commun.
Hi everyone, I'm Amira Sere and I'm a student at the Monaco Pasios Combined School. I'm in grade 6 and my teacher is Miss Stanislas. My favorite subject would be math. I don't normally like it, but my teacher makes it finds a way to make it fun. I also love the positive quote she put up all over the walls. It reminds me to keep going. Also, the new wing is very impressive. The balcony is very large, so at break time I can eat my snack and go for a nice little walk. I also like the size of the classroom, so I'm not sticking on anybody because 6 feet apart. Before, it was a rocky ride coming to school when I normally take the bus, but now the drivers don't have any complaints now that the district rep fixed it. Before, it was like a rocky, stony road, a dirt road, but now that they fixed it with some concrete and nice tools, it's a smooth ride. I may even fall asleep.
Thank you, Dr. Rigobert.
Bienvenue à sous Sky FM et puis ring the bell 93.1. Limo ici là c'est 456093. Moi ici là tous les jeudis, vendredis, samedi 8h jusqu'à 10h soir. Moi aussi à sous GVD TV et puis Facebook Sky FM, matchez ça et puis blanc m'école.
Mikudno family, Mamai Mikudno. Tune in to GVD TV 115 and Facebook Live this and every Tuesday for Let's Talk with Auntie Gail, where we will discuss what is happening in our constituency and the progress we have made so far. Anu pale epi Auntie Gail, Tule Madi asu GVD TV channel yon sek. Mikudno, we've got this. Let's talk. Nous toutes, c'est yon famille à Mikudno.
I have every intention to assist in whatever way, in whatever capacity, in wherever I can for the advancement of the people of Beaufort North. I couldn't believe Beaufort North in 2021 still have households that do not have pipe-borne water. But as the current government under the United Workers' Party, they did everything they could to get pipe-borne water for the people of Fonkapesh. And now that the people of Fonkapesh are enjoying this precious commodity, as we say, water is life, and that is a success story. And kudos to the government, the people of Fonkapesh, and by extension Beaufort North, they are extremely happy.